All right, so just right off the bat, like players that are ruled out, we have seen a bunch of these players already ruled out. Damian Lillard's ruled out. Paul George is out. John Wall's out. Luke Kennard, Kawhi Leonard. Like no big shocks there. Okay, so that's going to open up some okay plays for the Clips. And then also Cade Cunningham is out. And then we have some other injury news that we need to look for Detroit, because I think that's going to be the biggest difference maker on this slate. So as you can see, they have a lot of players questionable. Jaden Ivey questionable, Bogdanovich questionable, Bagley questionable, Isaiah Stewart questionable. As it sits right now, based off of the information available this morning, I am under the impression that Ivey is about 50-50. I think he's going to sit. Bogdanovich most likely going to sit. Bagley probably going to play. And then Isaiah Stewart probably going to sit. As you guys know, this is NBA DFS. Those are educated guesses. My thought process would be if Ivy, if Bogdanovich, and if Stewart sit, then Bagley is a player that you just absolutely love on this slate, given that price point. Hayes is someone that regardless is going to be a strong price point play. If both the centers sit, then Jalen Duren is going to be a very strong value play for you on this slate. So, we got to just wait on that injury news. But as it sits right now, that's what we're looking at. And I do want to touch on the flip side of that. If Emmanuel quickly sits, I think that just makes Jalen Brunson a stronger play. Maybe Cam Reddish becomes a little bit better of a play as well. If his minutes go up, would be a strong price point play. Reddish is someone, his per 36 is around 26 fantasy points. So if he gets 30 minutes or so, should be a strong price point play for you. All right, so now we are going to be looking at which players are going to be the best values on both FanDuel and DraftKings. So as it sits right now, Justice Winslow is looking like he's going to be a strong value price point play. I don't disagree with that. If he does get 34 minutes or so, would be a strong price point play. We'll see him on DraftKings popping up there as well. Amir Kofi, I think that's how you say his name. It might be Coffee. I'm not playing him. I don't think so. The minutes are going to be there for him, but he is just not someone that I'm particularly excited to play. So like Winslow, we can see it, he's going to get the minutes and at least he has some upside, where with Amir, he is just in there as a body pretty much. Okay. Not much there. Can he get to 20 DK points or FanDuel points? He potentially could, but not someone you're particularly excited to play. And then we get into some strong plays. I think Nurkic is going to be a very strong price point play, especially on FanDuel. He's going to be someone that's going to be tough to pass up on FanDuel given that price point. Josh Hart, I'm fine with. Kevon Looney, basically every slate he's always popping up there. Zubac, $100 cheaper on FanDuel. He's an intriguing play as well. Jeremy Grant going to be, much more appealing on DraftKings there, but not terrible. Marcus Morris, someone you could look at. It's a small slate. I do like Norman Powell as well, but we'll see. I like him a little bit better on DraftKings. So let's look at the DraftKings value. So Justice Winslow popping up there again. DFS, once again, he's always someone that seems to be popping up there. Him and Looney are always seeming to be a little bit lower price than they should be on every slate. They're just not sexy plays, but they're the perfect shoulder shrug plays. I always touch on that. Those are players that if you end up on them, you're perfectly happy ending up on them. That's what they are at this slate. Reggie Bullock, just a cheap price point for a guy that's going to get minutes. Probably not going to get a lot of DK points or fantasy points, but Kenny 5X, sure. And maybe on this slate, that's all you want. So that wouldn't be terrible. I do really like Jeremy Grant, guys. I think I'm going to end up on Jeremy Grant. I think I'm going to end up on Norman Powell. Klay Thompson is pretty cheap for a guy that can easily get hot and break the slate. So, we kind of get it. Let's just look at the top plays as well. Top plays, Luka, no shock there. Curry, Jeremy Grant popping up as a very strong play on the occupied model. So I think I'll probably play maybe these four, because I agree with that. Jalen Brunson, Nurkic, and Randall. Okay, so passes the eye test, passes the data test. So those are going to be some players I think we can look at. Then just looking at some odds, which game do we want to be targeting? Basically want to just avoid the Clippers-Portland game is what this is telling us. The other two games are close and no game is projected to be a blowout. As you guys know, that is huge. Okay, I don't like to talk about my DFS game too much. Okay, but last night I ended up with a Charlotte-Boston stack that also had Porzingis. If that game stays close, it's a much better night for me. It was a blowout, but you can't really predict when the blowouts are going to happen. And also, it was a great lineup because the Boston Celtics went off. It is what it is. So I never worry about the potential of maybe this being a blowout. Maybe the Detroit Pistons, if the injury news goes the wrong way, being blown out, that does make the Knicks players just still strong. You just hope that they get their final rotation. All right, now we're going to switch up and get into the ownership. All right, so looking at the projected ownership for DraftKings, kind of more of the same. A lot of people are going to be liking Norman Powell. That makes sense. Luka, people are just choosing to pay out for him. Jeremy Grant, I'm fine with. Justice Winslow, I'm fine with. I like Terrence Mann a lot. I think he's going to be a strong price point play. Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, people are just going with that game. I think they're trying to stack that game, and it makes a lot of sense. I agree with that. And then we'll just look at FanDuel. So FanDuel kind of more the same. No big shocks here. I guess Reggie Jackson popping up there a little bit more on FanDuel. Same thing with Spencer Dinwiddie, a little bit more there, but just more of the same there. So we'll get into the lineup process here for you, and then we'll begin out of here. Remember, if you guys enjoy the coverage, make sure to give a like and subscribe. So as I mentioned, I do really want to get, and we'll pull it up again, these 4 players into a build. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll touch on Jeremy Grant here. I think Jeremy Grant is a very strong GPP play. The upside is there for him to go off and break the slate. Okay, now he does have risk. Like, it's not going to shock me if he goes for only 30 or even 25 fantasy points. But just knowing that he has the upside to go for 45 fantasy points, that is too much for me to pass up on, especially given this slate. And then that's going to be the same thing with Julius Randle, except for Julius Randle has been much more consistent as a fantasy producer. But I think we're pretty much locking in 40 DK points or so. If you look at what he did against Detroit, the first 2 games, solid production. The first game, only 23, but he only played in 25 minutes, just randomly. And then the next game, 37. So I do think we are going to be locking in around, let's just say 37, but with the upside to go for 45 DK points. Obviously a strong matchup. So I think he's going to be a strong play. And then Norman Powell at it, the minutes have been there, 1 bad game over his last 5. So 4 out of his 5 have been very strong games, especially given this price point. I'm going to bet that that's going to happen again. Love the fact that you can play him at the guard or forward position. So we're going to go ahead and put him in at the forward position for now. And then Yusuf as well, kind of for the same reasons as to why I like Jeremy Grant. I also like Nurkic. He is someone that, given this price point, could easily go for 40 DK points and, set you off really well for the slate. Now, at the same time, if he has a bad game, if he has like 20 DK points, that's also not going to be shocking, but I'm going to be chasing upside on the slate. I think these 4 players give us the best chance to chase that upside. And then from there, you can fill in with some just strong price point plays, some safer plays. I think Terrence Mann's going to be a safe play. Those minutes are going to be there for him again. And if they are, he shouldn't have any trouble, basically 6xing at that price point. So he is someone I think we can go out of our way to play. And then Jalen Brunson, just with quickly questionable. If he were to sit, I think that just would make Jalen Brunson an elite play regardless. Either way, it should be a great play. 3 straight games of over 40 DK points. The shot attempts continue to be there for him. The assists continue to be there for him. Given this matchup with Detroit, it's going to be a matchup in which I don't really think we can avoid. Even at this price point, if he just gets what he had against them earlier this season, whereas 31, that's not going to be too terrible. You'd still take that. And then the other game went for 46 DK points. So yes, someone I'm certainly trying to go out of my way to play. And then we're looking at it for now. I guess we can put, you could go Cam Reddish, you could go Coffee, I guess, Amir. I guess I'll put that in there. The model liked him. I'm fine with that. And then Bagley, like if he plays, the upside's there for him. He doesn't need that many minutes, and it's nice to see that he's gotten on average around 30 minutes the last 2 games, 3 straight games of over 30 DK points. Could be a very strong price point play as well. So, this is a high upside first look build for you guys. All right. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that coverage. If you did, give a like and subscribe. That'll help us be able to put out more content for you guys. All right. Thanks for watching, and good luck tonight.